Yeah, g'day everybody, welcome back. I really enjoyed the last video I did, which was, a little bit ad hoc. I was talking about how to use Revit in different ways rather than a prescriptive drawing program. So going to continue on that theme on this particular video, and possibly some other ones. Okay, and I'm calling this one Things to Do with Walls. Okay, so this video is probably for the those that are new to Revit, fairly new, or have got a basic understanding of how to draw walls and things like that. I'm going to start showing you a few little tricks that we can do with walls to make them better, and and Autodesk, there's a lot of thought that does go into Revit walls. So let's start looking at some tricks that we can do. So in this video so far, I've created a couple of floors here, okay, at different levels. Okay, if I go into my 3D, there they are. I'll just take that into consistent colours so you can see them a bit better. As you can see, they are different heights. Okay, so this one here, the bottom, that's tied to my ground floor ceiling in my template, and this one here is tied to the first floor ceiling. It's got a nice height differential, so it's going to be easy to see things. Okay, first things first, ground floor plan. Okay, so I'm just going with ground floor plan. Now I can see one of these ceilings here. Now if you go into the properties here, you'll see they've got my underlay on first floor ceiling, okay, which is showing the first floor ceiling floor that I drew. If I change that underlay to ground floor ceiling, okay, that one shows that ground floor ceiling. Let's try that first floor plan. There it is there. Okay, so that first floor plan, the view range is such that we can see those two floors at different levels at the same time. Okay, now it's an overlay. I can't select them, but I'm not in sketch mode. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about with Revit walls is something called attaching. Okay, so nice and simple. So I'm just going to use my wall command. It doesn't matter what wall I use. Really doesn't. So I'm just going to use my. Actually, I might use a slightly thicker wall. So I've got a brick veneer there. I'll use that there. Okay, brick veneer wall. It's 250 thick. Okay, now I've got my top constraint. I'm leaving it as unconnected as default. Okay, and the unconnected height is going to be 8 meters. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure I'm at the ground floor plan. Yes. Okay, and I'm just going to draw my wall. Okay, so that it bridges, it goes across those two floors. Okay, and the rest of this is best seen in 3D. Okay, so there we go. There's that wall that I drew. Okay, so it's crossing through that floor there, and it's crossing through that floor there. Okay, so first things first, this attach function. Okay, so this wall is unconnected, okay, and I could constrain it to a different floor height, okay, but when I click on any wall, okay, on the right hand side in the ribbon, there's a couple of functions here. We have attach top base and detach top base. Okay, so that my thing, nothing's attached. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this attach button here, and left click on that. Okay, in my options bar on the left hand side, it says I either want to attach the top of the wall to something, or I want to attach the base of the wall to something. So let's just say we're going to stick to the top. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to tell Revit that I want to attach the top of this wall to roofs, floors, ceilings, etc. Okay, so I'm going to, again, this wall, attach the top of it to this floor. See how it's letting me select? Now if I go left click, okay, the entire wall has attached itself to that floor. Okay, now if I click on the wall, you will see that its top constraint, Revit still thinks that it is unconnected and that its unconnected height is 8,000, which is no longer valid. Okay, right, let's try that again. Same wall. Okay, this time I'm going to attach, I'm going to do it again. We'll attach the top of that wall to this floor. Left click, done. Okay, right, now we're starting to cook with gas. Okay, so as you can see, one wall, and I've managed to make it attached to two different floors. Okay, we click on the wall and Revit still thinks that it's unconnected. Okay, and I can't really do much more with the wall. I can drag it down there, that's not a problem, but it's not letting me do anything at the top when it's selected. Okay, so bit of a hint here, I suppose. You might be working on a project that somebody else has started, okay, and you go to click on a wall and it doesn't appear to be behaving correctly, i.e. its height doesn't factor in with its constraints. Okay, the reality is that it is possibly or probably attached to a ceiling, a roof, or a floor, or something like that. Okay, so the process to reverse is quite simple. So we just detach it. We say, right, I want to detach from that one there, and I want to detach it from there, and you'll see that the whole wall now is back where it was. Now if I left click on that wall, I've got my push pull arrow or my shape handle back there, which I can then just drag down, and if you go to the properties, it's unconnected, but now Revit's registering a different height because it's been merged, and there you go, it's locking into that wall there. Okay, so yeah, few little tricky things there that can happen, so yeah, watch out. Okay, now the reverse can happen. We can attach the base of this. So if I click on this wall here, okay, attach function. Okay, now I'm going to click on the base, and I'm going to click on the base of that floor, and I'm going to attach the base to this floor. Okay, and again we see the same sort of thing happening. Okay, we lose our shape handle at the bottom. We've still got our shape handle at the top. Okay, but we get this, you know, nice little funky opening. And I can push and pull that wall. Oops, that one wasn't very straight. Okay, if I push on the parallel, so you can still shape it, and see Revit will keep attaching it until it's told otherwise. Okay, so detach that, detach that, back to my default wall. Okay, so another question here. What if I want to apply different shapes to my walls, or the connections that Revit gives me when I attach it to another surface? What if they're not quite right? Which will happen. Revit can't calculate every junction for us. So we do have the ability to edit wall shapes, okay, or edit their profiles. Okay, so again in 3D this is a perfectly valid way of doing things. Okay, so I'm just registering this wall so I can see all of it. I'm going to left click on it. Okay, and when you click on any wall, you will see this edit profile button become alive for you, so just left click on that. Okay, so what you can do is you can just basically start taking pieces out. So that would be a void, this will be a chunk out of it. I can do some fancy stuff with arcs. Okay, and just for argument's sake, because it's coming up to Christmas, you know, a nice little star or something like that. Now, really important, as with Revit, this is an extrusion, so it's not going to be able to extrude these two lines together, so we have to use our split element tool, SL. Okay, split that line there, okay, so that I can trim it, okay, using my modify, my trim tool, so I can trim those two together. Okay, AutoCAD uses the old style command was fillet. Okay, there we go. Now if I go left click, go into 3D, there's all my shapes. Okay, so you can reshape walls at will. Okay, so have a crack at that. Some pretty cool stuff you can do with it. Okay, one other little trick I'm going to show you as well, okay, and that is called embedding walls. Okay, and that is putting two types of wall into the same plane. Okay, so for that I'm going to go back. I've gone back into my ground floor plan. Okay, I'm going to click on my wall command again. This time I'm going to choose a different wall. I might grab a weatherboard. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw. Actually, I'll give it a height constraint up to the ground floor ceiling. I'm going to take it over to the left over here. It's going to show up a little bit better. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to basically draw this wall over the top of another one. So left click and then left click again. Now Revit's going to give us a warning. Okay, down the bottom right hand corner, it's going to say highlighted walls overlap. One of them may be ignored when Revit finds room boundaries. Use cut geometry to embed one wall within the other. So Revit's telling us what to do. We can either ignore it and just have two walls sitting on top of each other, which would just be silly. Okay, or we can cut them out. Okay, and that's what we want to do. So to do that, I've got to go to my modify tab. Okay, we go into our geometry section here. Okay, and we've got a cut tool. Okay, so cut geometry. So I'm going to left click on the cut geometry. Down the bottom left hand corner it tells me first pick select element to be cut or host wall. Okay, this is the host wall or the element that we want to be cut. So I'm going to left click on that. Okay, single left click. Okay, second pick, select the wall parallel to the host. This is the host, or family instance to cut with. So this is the instance, okay, that we want to that we want to cut with. So I'm going to left click on that. Okay, and as you can see, that has cut all that out. What has been our result when we go into 3D? There it is there. So I've spun it around. There's our brick wall. And here is that little weatherboard wall that I did. Okay, so I can click on that little weatherboard wall. It's got its own shape handles, so I can reshape it quite happily like that, or change its parameters here. I can also edit the profile of that cutting wall. Okay, so I can reshape this one. So let's just say I'm going to shove a whole bunch of circles in there. Okay, this one here I might need to brawl down because I don't want it crossing over there. And if I go left click, what happens? Okay, so we've reshaped that wall, and so we've got brick on the outside, we've got a weatherboard wall, and we've got some Swiss cheese happening there. Okay, so there you go. I think I'll leave it at that because there's a few little things there to practice and muck around with. But it starts, as you can see very quickly, just using some very basic tools, we can start getting some really nice architectural and design features humming along. I think it starts making our drawings look a little bit nicer and certainly a bit more modern under the way modern architecture is certainly moving. Okay, so I will say goodbye and let you enjoy practicing with all of these wonderful little wall tools. So see you later.